I don't. Do you wish to talk about the federal? Recently, the federal government just what did you call? Put out a report that glossed over the senatorial mayor or former mayor Art Eggleton had put together a report from his Senate position with a few other. I say a conservative senator put together a 72-point plan on how to fight poverty in the nation, and it had sat on the conservative government's desk for about a year or so, and they finally brought their comments down, where they rejected all 72 points or 49 points of this poverty action plan. Are you familiar with that at all?
I did read something about that, yeah, and I'll say that there are many ways to approach the issue of poverty, but one of the best ways is to create a better system of free enterprise. So instead of needing government housing for people or special government programs for people, which are often inefficient, which often lead to just a bloating of those programs that actually depend on the need for the problem to survive themselves. So that sort of changes how they approach it in many ways. If you're a government department, you don't necessarily want to solve the problem you're working on because you put yourself out of business. So there are many ways to approach the issue of poverty, and certainly I think that because it is a life or death issue for some, it can affect their health, it can affect the quality of their lives, and it is a painful issue. I mean, poverty is something that can be intergenerational and can destroy opportunity. So we should use some government programs to alleviate immediate poverty and get people in a position where they can be productive members of our culture as they see fit. But ultimately, a better system of free enterprise, lower taxes. We pay about 60% of our income in total in taxes in this country, and I don't think we get that much back in services. I'm saying I'm ballparking on average, and so if you give people more money and they have more of a chance to spend, to invest in their education, in their leisure, in their fun, then they will generate wealth. But if you tax them and then if you put in government solutions to poverty, what often happens is you have these solutions being the thing to do, and those people are stuck in that trap. And so many good people work there. I worked in the homeless industry myself, a few years ago, for medical director of Seton House for a project to help make sure they could have better care whenever they in their transient mode went to different shelters or hospitals throughout the city. So, I've been involved in some of these efforts, but I also know that there is some institutional resistance to what would be called radical, but if you look at the problem, what should be called practical solutions to eliminating this problem, as opposed to managing to do the best you can with the solution and then tinkering with the solutions that are sort of approved by the government and endorsed by the media.
Yeah, so basically saying teach him how to fish instead of throwing him a fish.
That was a much better and faster way to say it, so I appreciate that, Shannon. That's why you're the radio host, and I'm just the humble guest.
Well, it's my policy to let the other guy do the talking. And also, it just seems off that this is sort of my own thinking here, but Toronto being the center of Canada and pretty much the base of poverty in Canada, I would assume that like most of the poverty does exist in our region, that for a federal institution, the federal government to be throwing away billions of dollars at this sort of self-perpetuating poverty issue. Meanwhile, it would be the city of Toronto that would be able to probably deal with the issue the best if they were able to retain the funds to actually, again, it's funny how you tied the tax issue into the poverty issue, but the amount of money that Toronto sends out of the city and out of the province to the federal government, and then how it dribbles back, and it's insufficient to actually deal with the issues of our city itself.
I read an article saying 92% of our tax money goes out, we only get 8% back of the tax money we send the federal government. And I was quite shocked by that statistic. I think it was in the Toronto Star. But I also read another great article in the Toronto Star by Ms. English, which listed my name among 39 candidates for mayor on there, and a link to the city's website, and basically advocated the idea that who are these independent candidates running for mayor? Who plunked down $200? Even if they don't have a chance to win, wasn't the point of them running to introduce good ideas into the debate? And if that was the point of them running, then isn't it a good idea that we at least take a look at their ideas? So you can have Ford, Smitherman, Rossi, Pantalone, and you can have these folks sort of playing a little safer and smarter, according to many people, because people will say this is politics. You've got to say certain things and talk a certain way to get elected and so on. But at the same time, if you acknowledge that construct and even think that construct is what it's supposed to be, you can still acknowledge that 35 other people plunked down $200 plus tried to raise money and are only doing it to at least introduce ideas into the debate that should be good ideas for our city, or at least should be considered to see if they are good ideas for our city. And so there is some encouragement out there from mass media circles with respect to looking at solutions to this problem, because what we mostly get from the corporate media and from the government are definitions of the problem. We get very academic definitions, and this is the reason for poverty. This is the reason we're having trouble solving this. This is the reason why this situation is messed up. And when you just get that over and over and over again, it tends to make you a little defeatist, because you're never transcending that. It's sort of a learned acceptance and a learned helplessness. And so many of the other candidates who are running for mayor are trying to challenge that simply because they've thought of it. And if anybody in Toronto, tried to do this, they could, I'm sure, think of a couple of good ideas for the city. If any residents of the city, lifelong residents like myself, tried to run for mayor, they would have a couple of good ideas to throw into the kitty, just based on their understanding of a place they've lived for, a certain amount of time. So, there are ways to use the independent media and independent candidates to give us some hope when it really looks like, we're going to choose the lesser of two evils and then be stuck with, evil running our city for 4 years, which I think is a mistake, without at least making sure that evil acts less evil by bringing them some fresh ideas and saying, look, even though this guy didn't win, we still want to do what he recommends.
Yeah, it's like, the other 35 candidates could be introducing issues that the front runners need to deal with, or maybe even possible modification of their platform through the sort of enlightenment or education of the lower sort of candidates, if you follow what I'm saying. Actually, I'm going to get into some music now. We're going to take a break. It's 9:04, so we're pretty much halfway through the show, and we're just going to take a little break. And actually, this is a good little track. I think we'll have some fun with it, and we'll be back shortly. You're listening to Plunder News with Vijay Sarma, our mayor candidate out of CKLN, and my name is Shannon. You're listening to Plunder News. And play that. And where's it? I gotta get it up. City
Hall. Word on the street is that you got the unofficial Toronto anthem, TO'd from abdominal feature itself. I gotta hear that. Check it out.
Welcome to Toronto. Welcome to Toronto, brother.
Yeah.
Welcome to Toronto. Welcome
Whether
to
you
Toronto.
call it Toronto, the T-Dot, or T-O. Screwface capital like Theo. The Big Smoke, Hot Town, Mega City. It's where I'm from, frankly, couldn't pick a better city to call home. From the 401 to Sky Dome, Scarborough, over west to Etobicoke, and all the parts lying in between. I'm from Toronto. Abs, let me paint. Spent my childhood in Greek Town, but now a West End denizen. Buying cocoa bread and patties in Kensington and peddling westbound to Lansdowne. Shut off the disc man to allow familiar sounds to enter my eardrums, hearing the humming ding of the 506 old men grumbling in Italian and Portuguese over coffees at corner cafes. Change the sensory focus to olfactory factories pumping chocolate into the air. There's Cadbury and Nestle in a 2-click radius, making the air seem like something out of the craziest dream of Roald Dahl. Sun lower now, paint you with a golden brow, tightly holding down my Duffer Mall Kangol knockoff. To block off the rays, change lanes, turn left at the no frills. Perched at the mouth of Parkdale, only the hill separates me from home and a hot shower. But I stopped to watch the tower for a few seconds, standing majestically till the car horn snaps me from my reverie. Push off the curb to my pad below. So glad that I live in T.O. Toronto, a T.O. Oh, Screwface capital like Theo. Oh, the Big Smoke, hot town, mega city. It's where I'm from, frankly, couldn't pick a better city to call home. From the 401 to Sky Dome, Scarborough, over west to Etobicoke, and all the parts lying in between. I'm from Toronto. Notes, yeah, that's the team. Main Street, where I'm from, where I live, where I sung, where I spit, where I hung as a kid. And if you wanna go, it's just west of Scarborough, the home of bombs, Lola souls, and lawn gnomes, the East End. I got to call home, but the spots I long for all across Toronto. I'm down at Queen West just to take a graffiti, and to the Danforth for my favorite tzatziki. Live from the center of the universe, I'm from Toronto. Come on, man, do your worst. Young disc jockeys play wrist hockey, train on the tabletops, making the tables top.
I'll buy my records at.
Rotate this and play D, that's where you can locate this. And if I need a flick, I go to Queen Vid, a suspect. Hey yo, Roche, what's next?
Let's take him to the comic book store. I go to comics and more. Where Greenwood make a cross at Danforth.
And if you down for it,
I'll show you how the city does.
all the way from Chinatown
To Little India,
from the beaches,
to Roncesvalles,
Park to the
Rexter,
River to
Rosedale.
Really, you should come to our town before the Leafs win the cup and we tear the place down.
Toronto, product of its people. Bloor Street, Bathurst Street, Queen Street, Parliament Street, Young Street. Welcome to Toronto. Welcome
Whether
to
you
Toronto.
call it Toronto, the T.O. Screwface capital like Theo. The Big Smoke, hot town, mega city. It's where I'm from, frankly, couldn't pick a better city to call home. From the 401 to Sky Dome, Scarborough, over west to Etobicoke, and all the parts lying in between. We're from Toronto, and T.O.'s the theme. That's right.
Welcome to Toronto. Welcome to Toronto, brother.
CKLN 88.1 FM, Plunder News. My name is Shannon. Special guest Vijay Sarma, our mayoral candidate for the city of Toronto. It's a pleasure having you in the studio with us. Thank you very much for coming down, by the way.
Thank you so much, Shannon.
So we might as well